Intersections are among the most dangerous places on our streets because there are more opportunities for conflict, resulting in a high number of crashes. One way to improve safety at intersections is for each of us to understand the behaviors of other users, follow the rules, and respect rights of way of one another. All users have a responsibility to know and practice these rules. Drivers, bikers, and pedestrians need to understand how to communicate with one another and how to be visible and predictable. Safe cyclists are scanning their surroundings all the time, watching the movement of others so they can be prepared to react quickly to unexpected movements. As you approach an intersection, you should be planning for how to safely make your crossing. This will depend on the type of intersection, the specific bike infrastructure, and the other road users present. When sharing a lane with cars, you must decide whether to pull in behind the cars in front of you to proceed safely through the intersection, or if there is room for you to stay safely to the right of cars. If there's room, you may pull up alongside the first car, scanning for right turn signals. If no cars have their signal on, pull as far forward as you safely can without blocking the crosswalk, and make eye contact with the driver next to you to make sure they see you. The Idaho stop law allows a cyclist to treat a red light as if it were a stop sign, so you may proceed through a red light after coming to a complete stop and making sure the way is completely clear. Interrupting a pedestrian or driver who has a green light is incorrect and unsafe behavior. One of the most common crashes between people biking and driving is commonly called a right hook. This occurs when a driver turns right across the travel of a bicyclist who is heading straight. Right hooks are avoidable if you stay alert, communicate your intentions to drivers, and make yourself visible. Be aware that some drivers unfortunately may not always use their signals when they intend to turn right. If a car does not have its signal on, then you are in the right if you pull up and block their ability to turn. However, if their blinker is on, you don't have the right to pass and block their turn unless you're in a bike lane. As you approach an intersection in a bike lane, look ahead to see if the bike lane continues through the intersection into the block ahead. If the lane continues, a car turning right no longer has the right of way. The bike lane is a travel lane they must cross, which gives the cyclist right of way. A bike lane, however, does not protect you from a right hook crash, and you should always be prepared to avoid it. If you pass waiting cars, check for a right turn signal and pull up far enough to be visible to the driver and try to make eye contact with them. If the bike lane ends at the intersection, it is safest to pull out of your lane and take the lane with the cars in order to safely proceed through the intersection. Proceeding through a green light with a bike lane, you have full right of way. However, be alert for drivers turning right and left across your path to stay safe. If you do not have a bike lane, it is recommended that you take the travel lane to be visible and prevent drivers from turning right or left into you. If you do take the lane and are behind a car, be aware that oncoming drivers turning left likely cannot see you behind the car. Proceed cautiously and check for cars turning left. Make sure oncoming drivers see you as you enter the intersection. The Idaho stop law allows cyclists to treat a stop sign as a yield sign, so you may proceed through a stop sign after slowing and confirming the way is clear. At a four-way stop, standard rights of way apply. You may only proceed once other users who arrived first or are to your right have gone through the intersection. Pedestrians have the right of way at crossings once they have stepped into the street. If a pedestrian is waiting or arrives at the same time, you should stop and wait for them to cross. If they indicate that they don't intend to cross or want you to go first, then you may proceed through the intersection. If they don't step into the street once you have stopped and there are no other vehicles prohibiting them from crossing, you can assume they are not crossing and slowly proceed through the intersection. Just like drivers, cyclists must signal their intentions to others using turn signals. This makes you predictable to other road users. Indicate a left turn by putting your left arm straight out. To communicate a right turn, you have two options. Put your left arm out with your hand straight up from your elbow, or you may put your right arm straight out. To signal that you are stopping, place your left arm straight down. Always use your hand signals to indicate a turn at least 100 feet before your turn. This is about 1/4 of a block. When making a turn at an intersection, the earlier you begin signaling, the better, as this allows you to put your hand down as needed. If you cannot keep your hand up for several seconds, plan on signaling more than once to provide others plenty of opportunity to see your signal. Turning right, you may stay in a bike lane or to the right of drivers, but be sure you signal as you pass cars on your left so they know you plan to turn. When turning left, you will need to move into the travel lane if not already there. In multi-lane roads or those with turn lanes, you should begin scanning back early, well before your turn, to give you enough time to safely cross into the correct lane. Signal to tell drivers you are changing lanes and move into the lane once it is safe to do so. By following these rules and guidelines, you should feel confident to safely navigate the various types of intersections you may encounter while sharing the road.